Entering a retail shop lease is a significant investment decision. We have identified some of the important issues you need to consider when negotiating a lease. Here are some practical tips to avoid you falling into the common pitfalls. Lease term and option to renew. You need to carefully check the length of your lease and whether you have any rights to renew at the end of the initial lease term. With limited exceptions, the Act states that retail shop leases must be for a minimum of 5 years, including any options to renew. Disclosure requirements. The Retail and Commercial Leases Act of 1995, the Act, requires the landlord to give you a disclosure statement prior to signing the lease. If such disclosure is not made, the Magistrates Court can make orders to void or vary the lease. The court can also require the landlord to refund money or pay compensation to you. A copy of the proposed lease must also be provided to you as soon as the negotiation starts. Rent review. The lease will provide you with information regarding the frequency and method of rent review. The Act prohibits the base rent to be reviewed in the first 12 months after the lease is entered into. Additionally, the base rent cannot be changed more than once per year, except for a change by a specified amount or percentage. You must make sure you can afford the proposed rent increases over the term of your lease. Tenancy mix and competition. You must consider the mix of tenants when leasing in a shopping centre or shopping precinct. If necessary, you might want to negotiate an exclusivity of trade clause into your lease. Costs and outgoings. Costs such as operating expenses, insurance, and marketing funds can be substantial and need to be taken into account when entering into the lease. Some costs are ongoing and may increase during the term. It is always a good idea to know them and plan in advance. Note that you do not need to pay rent if the landlord has not fulfilled its fit-out obligations. Permitted use. You need to ensure that the permitted use is suitable for your current business and is broad enough to cover any future business activities you contemplate. The permitted use can also limit your opportunities to assign the lease to a third party later on. Assignment and subleasing. The ability to assign or sublet your lease gives you flexibility when you decide to sell your business in the future. Generally, a landlord's prior consent is required. If your consent is refused, the landlord must give you a written statement of the grounds on which the consent was withheld.